Imagine you're just going about your day. Middle of the open ocean. No flotsam, no enemies, no boats anywhere on the horizon. Just you, your sloop, and the gentle sound of waves. When suddenly... Ever fight a crew where something just feels off? You can't quite put your finger on it, but your gut is telling you something isn't right. Well, you're not alone. What I just showed you is a scene that has been playing out across these seas for years, and it has a name. Keg dropping. It's a method of cheating with virtually no real counterplay. A player with bad intent repeatedly dropping an explosive keg onto your boat over and over until you either both go down together or you simply can't keep up with the mounting pressure. There's no skill involved, there's no outplaying it, it's just grief on demand. And now, after all this time, it's back. Now, I was going to talk about something called Athenaware, but fortunately for everyone who actually likes a fair fight, Athenaware imploded in 2025, performing what can only be described as a full exit scam. It took its Discord server down with it and vanished into the abyss, so I genuinely cannot find enough information on it to give it the coverage it probably deserves. Now, what I can tell you is that I sailed through that era, and as cheat clients go, Athenaware was firmly on the unkillable god end of the spectrum. You know the type. Which brings me to the first cheat client that was ever properly documented in Sea of Thieves. Ladies and gentlemen, Blackwatch. Blackwatch was essentially a full toolkit of misery, and its main features included super speed swimming. Picture the Flash. Now make him a fucking fish. That's what you were dealing with. Instaladder, a genuinely cursed technique where the user would hit your ladder, interact prompt, and instantly appear at the top of it. No climbing, just teleportation. Instaswap. This was quick swap, but on crack, combined with silent aim, which, if you somehow don't know, is essentially just aimbot. It turned every engagement into a coin flip where the other side has loaded the coin. And just in case making someone into Aquaman with the Speed Force wasn't already enough, they went ahead and added teleportation. Because apparently someone looked at that feature list and thought, you know what's missing? Goku's instant transmission. And they weren't wrong. Terrifyingly. Before I continue, I would like to say that I in no way support, condone, or wish for anyone to install the clients that I am about to name, and I personally want them removed fully. Now, let's skip forward to the present day, where the current reigning king of the cheat client market is CMH. And oh boy, oh boy, CMH is currently dominating the scene, catering largely to anyone whose mom hasn't yet noticed a charge on her credit card. And trust me, they have noticed the credit card. We've seen a lot out of this client. Every few months, Rare pushes out an anti-cheat patch, and every single time, usually within about an hour, CMH's creator announces a new version that cuts straight through it like it was nothing. I genuinely, unironically, have to commend the technical effort here. The system this guy has built is actually impressive. He pre-patches the cheat client with new bypasses before the anti-cheat update goes live, meaning the moment Rare's patch hits, CMH is already one step ahead. No downtime, the seas barely even have time to feel clean. And the kicker, the absolute cherry on top of this whole situation, he's doing it to pay for college tuition. Capitalism working as intended. The fact that Rare is still out here playing whack-a-mole with this guy instead of just hiring him to find vulnerabilities in their own anti-cheat, is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed in gaming. Pay the man, Rare. Or at least send him a fucking, fruit basket. Speaking of Rare, I actually have some questions. How is the Discord server for this client still up? Has anyone even attempted to contact Discord to have it taken down? Because the creation and distribution of cheat software is a terms of service violation, right? Now, admittedly, and this is a real criticism, Rare's code of conduct doesn't explicitly spell out what counts as cheating. It's vague, notoriously so. They do state a zero tolerance policy for anything that gives players an unfair advantage. That's in there. But is Rare known for being frustratingly unclear about where exactly the line is? Yes, absolutely yes. Does that mean you should exploit those gray areas? I mean, yeah, no, obviously not, you absolute twit. Should Rare take the time to clearly define what cheating actually means in their game? Yes, full stop. That's just basic courtesy from a game developer. Come on. It's March 2024. It had been hyped for months. The community was watching, and Rare, in their infinite wisdom, announced their anti-cheat solution of choice. Easy anti-cheat. Known primarily for two things. Absolutely tanking your load times and not actually being all that effective at stopping cheaters. Which, look, when a solo college student running a cheat as a side hustle can consistently outpace a dedicated development team, that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? On launch day though, it felt different. The seas were serene, beautiful even. Some of the so-called full pros we'd previously struggled against for entire sessions went down in under 10 seconds. It was cathartic in a way I don't have words for. And then, about an hour later, holy shit, is that the elite defender from Balloons? What we were looking at was a sniper rifle going full auto at roughly 3,000 rounds per minute, just going completely Rambo across the water. Truly a spectacle. The exploit behind it was actually pretty elegant in a terrible way. Changing your weapon's skin in Sea of Thieves triggers an instant reload. The cheat was abusing this to simulate full auto fire, and the reason players could do it remotely and repeatedly was because they had found a way to access the weapon box from anywhere on the boat. Annoying to play against, especially when you're seeing it every few fights. And as someone who spends a genuinely concerning amount of time in Hourglass PvP, the current present day cheat situation has seen the return of keg dropping. Now, I know I already spoke on it earlier, but I didn't explain exactly how it works. What they do is teleport to an island, a sea fort, a fortress, or anything in between, grab an explosive barrel, then teleport directly onto your boat with it. And they can do this as many times as they want. You're probably starting to see why this is so bad. And the cherry on top, there is an explosive in this game that is a one-hit instant sink for every boat except the sloop. And even then, it's close. If you're a veteran player who hasn't touched the game in a while, you're probably thinking, oh, the mega keg. You'd be wrong. This is nearly twice as powerful as that mini nuke, recently added to the game, powerful enough to flip a boat completely upside down in such a way that, from the right angle, it is simply unsavable. The Black Powder Barrel. A juiced up keg of black powder that has absolutely no business existing in the hands of someone with teleportation. And that's the core problem with the current cheating situation. It's not the cheats themselves, it's the world tools they can instantly gain access to. One black powder barrel may be survivable. Two, you're done. 20,000 allegiance or otherwise. Which brings me to my main point. What is the point in having an anti-cheat when it's too weak to actually combat the problem? Why is there seemingly no clarity on cheaters anytime it becomes a widespread issue? They get swept under the rug and quietly ignored. Meanwhile, Sea of Thieves partners are being put on cushy private servers that appear to only allow verified main accounts. We're talking accounts with hundreds of hours on them. And look, I get it. Having cheaters as a constant backdrop in content made by the game's biggest YouTubers would look really bad for the brand. But it also feels like false advertising, a curated, sanitized version of an experience that the average player simply does not have access to. Especially given the tendency for these cheaters to use vulgar language, slurs, death threats, and derogatory terms, or other ways make the experience genuinely hostile in a game rated PG-13. How can you expect parents to make a properly informed purchase without any glimpse of the real experience their kid would actually be exposed to? You can't. My personal take is this: while Sea of Thieves is an open sandbox with a relatively light, non-gory storyline, rich with tall tales and genuine adventure, the types of players the game has attracted over time simply don't fit the vision and expectation that Rare set for it. There's a disconnect between the world they built and the community that showed up to live in it. And until Rare is willing to honestly address that gap rather than paper over it, the problem isn't going anywhere. Sea of Thieves is, at its core, a beautiful game. It always has been. The world Rare has built is one of the most charming sandboxes in modern gaming. Full of wonder, genuine adventure, and moments you simply can't script. But right now, the gap between what Rare envisioned for this game and what the actual pirates on these seas have envisioned is possibly wider than it has ever been. Wider even than the period where the cheaters had the ability to get legitimate players banned for hours at a time just for existing in the same lobby. And a game with an anti-cheat that can seemingly be bypassed in minutes using nothing but the equivalent of metal scraps in a cave is not a game in a healthy state. I don't care how it's doing player count wise, I care how it's doing experience wise. And currently, it's not good. So Rare has a choice to make. They can keep playing tag with cheat developers who will always be one step ahead, keep sweeping the community problem under the rug alongside the cheating problem, pretending the two aren't connected. They can keep letting this game sail itself headwind into a cliff face until it crumbles and sinks to flaming ashes. Or they can finally pull themselves up by the bootstraps, lock the fuck in, and actually address this properly. For the potential new players whose first experience on these seas shouldn't be getting blown up by someone who happens to have access to mom's credit card. The seas are still worth sailing. Rare just needs to decide if they agree.